Thank you, Karen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak today at the National Fontan Education Day. My name is Callum McNair. I'm 25 years old and I'm a lawyer here in Adelaide. Now, instead of talking to you about some of the legal pitfalls of health insurance claims or some recent statements on medical negligence, I'm here to talk about the favourite topic of most lawyers. No, it's not money, but instead, for most lawyers, their favourite topic is themselves. Now, I would like to think that I'm not like most lawyers, as my favourite topic is not myself. However, today I am going to be like most lawyers and talk about myself. Apart from being a lawyer, I am one of Heart Kids South Australia's ambassadors. The reason I am an ambassador for Heart Kids SA is that I, like many of you in this room, was born with a complex heart abnormality. I now have a Fontan circulation. I was born 6 weeks premature and nearly died at birth. I've had 13 operations, including 4 heart operations for my Fontan procedure. As a Heart Kids SA ambassador, it's normally at this point I would start talking about how my heart functions compared to a normal heart, how the right side of my heart is smaller than the left, how in effect I have half a heart, how my pulmonary artery is basically closed over, how I have 7 holes in my heart, and how I had my first operation at 1 day old, weighing just 2 kilos, before I was shortly airlifted to Melbourne for emergency surgery. But instead, I won't talk about that today. I won't talk about that not because I'm speaking to a room full of experts and people who know much more about congenital heart disease than I know, but instead I won't talk about that because as a lawyer, I don't want to be sued for misleading and deceptive conduct as provided in Section 18, Chapter 2, Part 2.1 of Schedule 2 of the Competition and Consumer Act 2010, also known as Section 18 of the Australian Consumer Law. Now, many of us here know the trials and tribulations of congenital heart disease. So, what is it like for me living with congenital heart disease? For me, it was vomiting nearly every day until I was 2 years of age due to the fluid that built around my stomach. For me, before my last operation, I looked purple, and people would come up to me in the street and say, "Gosh, you look cold." For me, it's knowing that I'll likely need more surgery in the future. Yet, thanks to some of the amazing people in this room, I now don't look purple. It's not obvious that I have a heart problem, and I'm now not out of breath when I talk. But I still can't run around an oval without having a rest, and I can't run 100 metres at full sprint. And I often have to go to bed quite early as I'm tired and exhausted at the end of the day. Because I tire easily, I'm acutely aware that I cannot stay out late and do the sort of things that other 25-year-olds can do. At times it's very disappointing, but sadly this is a reality, and I and many other heart kids and those living with a Fontan circulation have to endure this every day. I've often been asked what is the tiredness I experience feels like. As I've always lived with it, I don't know how to describe it. But it was one of my cardiologists who said the best way to describe it is it's like a tiredness you have when you have a really bad cold or a flu-like symptoms. It is an unfortunate reality of having a Fontan circulation that we are often tired. I am certainly extremely grateful that I'm still alive, but I do at times get sick of being tired all the time. In the past few years, I've gone to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne for extensive tests on my heart, kidneys, liver, bones, as part of the Fontan study. The reality of living with a Fontan means that I take every day as a blessing, because for me, every day is simply a gift. I know I have to live life to the fullest, as I've been given the gift of life. However, sadly, some heart kids are not as fortunate as me, or many of us in this room. Saying this, my heart abnormality does not stop me leading a relatively normal life. I play golf and tennis, albeit poorly. I go to the gym. Tomorrow I'll walk 4Ks, participating in 2 feet and a heartbeat for heart kids. Next week I'll walk 6 kilometres to raise money for heart kids in the Adelaide City to Bay. I see this as a remarkable achievement, as before my last operation I couldn't walk to the letterbox without stopping for a rest. My Fontaine has given me the gift of life and allowed me to achieve many things. In 2014, I completed my Bachelor of International Studies. In 2015, I completed my Bachelor of Laws with honours, both at the University of Adelaide. In 2016, I completed my Graduate Diploma of Legal Practice, or GDLP, from the College of Law. In 2017, I started my full-time Masters of Laws, or LLM, at the University of Melbourne, where I've been top of my class in some of my subjects. In 2017, while in Melbourne and as a resident at Graduate House College, I was awarded a prize for contribution to the college and was the college's representative at the National Student Leadership Forum in Canberra. I completed my Masters of Laws in 2018 while working full-time as the Associate to the Honourable Justice Vanstone in the Supreme Court of South Australia. While working for Her Honour, I was her associate on one of the most high-profile criminal cases in the country. Currently, I am working as an associate at Lipman Karras. Lipman Karras, or LK, is a specialist international litigation firm where I am working on the collapse of a multi-billion-dollar US-based hedge fund. Presently, previously I've been a research assistant at the University of Adelaide. I've also lived in Singapore for 3 months, where I completed an internship with the Pacific Economic Cooperation Council. In 2015, I had a paper published at the conference in Manila and was a guest of the Filipino government to attend that conference. I've also attended the APEC conference in Jakarta. In May this year, I attended the Pacific Economic Cooperation Council's annual conference in Jakarta, representing Australia along with other Australian delegates, including Ross Garneau. Despite my health, which will never be 100% perfect, I've tried to live a full and normal life. And although it may not seem like it, I've certainly faced my challenges due to my health. So as I stand here, I thought, what wisdom can I bring? What wisdom can I share? And I thought long and hard about this. I contemplated topics such as how to get a really long and impressive CV, and then I realised that Eve's version of his CV on the Royal Children's website is some 27 pages. And that was in 2013, so I'm guessing it's probably now closer to 35. Sorry. I also thought about important topics, such as the benefit of having good oral hygiene, or how it's important to be active. But then I thought I should really leave that to the expertise of Gabrielle Allen and Rachel Cordina. So I thought, what helped me get through life so far? And it was really 3 things. The first is be thankful. Be thankful for how fortunate we all are. Be thankful that we were born in Australia, where we have a healthcare system that has allowed us to all be alive today. Because the somewhat depressing reality is that had we been born in many other countries, our outcome would be very different. Yes, there are sad days, but we should also take the good days and realise that although we may have been born with a not perfect health, we are very lucky to have a fantastic medical team, and we should be thankful for that. The second is find your passion. For me, I was never going to be a calligrapher. My handwriting is atrocious. To say it's illegible is putting it nicely. So obviously and fortunately for me, calligraphy is not a passion of mine. Instead, my passions and things I enjoy are law, politics, travel, sport, playing golf and tennis, cooking, catching up with friends and family, and spending time with my pets. Find your passion. Find what you enjoy. Unfortunately, having a Fontan circulation means we have less energy than most. So don't waste your energy on insignificant things. In my case, one of those would be calligraphy. Do what you enjoy. Find your passion. Third and lastly, don't be afraid to ask questions. I remember many years ago I was in Singapore and I went to a seminar on Australia in the Asian Century white paper. Fascinating stuff. I was young, I was inexperienced, and there were all these questions about media regulation, behind the border measures, tariffs and other issues. I asked what I assumed was a fairly simple question. I asked, so what does this paper actually mean for Australia? No one could answer my question. It taught me a great lesson. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Ask your teacher, your lecturer, your mum, dad, whoever. I know from speaking to young people that they often say, geez, I really wish I'd asked that. So don't be afraid. Ask your GP, your health practitioner, or your cardiologist if you have a question and you don't understand something. However, also ask them about themselves, because you'll possibly have a long relationship with your health professional. Be polite to them. Ask them how they are. You can learn a lot from other people by asking them about their lives. Do not be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand something or need clarification, ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for inviting me to speak today. It has been a huge honour and a real privilege. I hope I haven't breached Section 18 of the Australian Consumer Law, and I hope I have given you all an insight into my life with half a heart.